It's a sad story, really, because I gave birth to him. He was born normal. I'm allergic to sulfur, and the hospital I went to, they injected me with sulfur, so I was unconscious. So then I was with my mom, and my mom was, typical of every mom. She was more focused on me, feeling that the hospital would take care of the baby,
Yep.
So like the next day, I got myself, oh, where's my baby and all of that. It was just very funny. They said, oh, there's a baby downstairs. So I quickly ran that. But luckily, when I gave birth to him, so they did CS because I had I was bleeding from stress. So it was an emergency CS, although he was already like 8 weeks gone. So he came out healthy baby. I saw my baby. Then I knew he could hear, because whenever he's crying and I sing to him, he stops, and all of that. But the day I was to pick him up, I felt something was wrong, but I just couldn't place
instinct.
I just couldn't place it, honestly.
Yeah.
So I told my mom that I think we need to go to another hospital to check that. I feel something is wrong. So we went to another hospital, and when we got there, they said they could see traces of erythromycin in his, his system or something.
Right.
Okay, they took a blood sample because I kept saying they needed to check him. So they said they could see, and erythromycin is not something you give a baby. So apparently what happened was, the hospital where I'm coming from, they said the nurse made a mistake and injected my baby with erythromycin. So, we had to do, then his tummy started swelling, and because also they didn't clean me properly, so I was still bleeding. So my mom said, I wasn't fit to be doing all the running around, so I was pretty much in the house trying to get myself. My mom was doing the running around. One of the doctors called me and said that he's very sure they can't treat my baby, that they're just telling me things that I should take my baby out of the hospital.
Okay.
So this was like 3 weeks after birth, and my sister-in-law, so I called her, everybody, the whole family members knew what was going on, so they were looking for hospital. So she told me of this children's hospital in Lagos, and then I rushed my baby there. I remember he was wrapped around my hands, and then I went to the hospital, and so the doctor came and she said, what's wrong? I said, I don't know what's wrong. There's just something wrong with the baby. And she's like, where's the baby? He was already shrunk, he wasn't eating, his stomach was big, and I just opened the wrap and she's like, oh my God, and she took him. They didn't even ask for maybe money, the typical Nigerian setting, the first thing they're going to ask is you need to do a deposit.
Of course.
So she took him from me and she rushed upstairs, and I was trying to get myself because, I rushed up with her, and immediately she put him under drips and so many things. I just told me to wait out. So I was out there crying with my mom, like what's happening. They couldn't explain what was happening. So she came out, the doctor came out, and she was telling me that there's something wrong, that can I give a history. So I tried to go back to the hospital, I need a history, what exactly is wrong. But they just swept everything under the carpet because it's, when it's a commoner.
Yeah. Oh, well,
so
I know.
They swept everything under the carpet. They said they're not going to give me anything. So the doctors now started working based on their instincts. And so he was shrinking. He was born 2.23 kg, but as at the time he was with them, he was already like 1.6 kg.
Oh my God.
He had his tummy wasn't going down. So I remember then they told me I had to go home. I refused to go home. I was crying and all. So the doctor came to me and she said, don't worry, she's a mother too, that I should go home and she would try and do her best. So first thing in the morning I came and she held my hand and she said that I need to pray for my baby. But one thing I need to know is that if he makes it alive, then he's born to live. And so I was there all through. They were also trying to check my BP.
All right, because now no one is thinking of mom. Everyone is just on this job. Oh dear.
So later, the male doctor came out and he told me, he said, Madam, you're going to see your baby. It may be the last you're going to see of him, but they are going to tell me something that they want to save his life. They need to give him injection again. I think they needed to give him the erythromycin again or something to flush it out from the system, and that anything could happen. He might not wake up again, or he might have cerebral palsy. Anything can happen. And then they asked me, do I want to go ahead with it? Or if I don't go ahead with it, then I should be sure that he's not going to leave. So they gave me that option. You can imagine giving a mother the option.
Oh my God.
It wasn't, like, I couldn't imagine what they were telling me. Like, the baby, already like a month, I held in my stand to him, and now you're telling me I should make the decision between life and death. So
I have goosebumps on my body.
I remember all I could tell her then was, you know what, give him whatever happens. I'm his mom, and I'm not going to leave him. Yeah. Anything that comes with it, I'm going to deal with it. And I just kept thinking of, I can't hold this child in my hand, feel his heartbeat and just say, oh no, let him go, because he's going to have a defect or handicap or something.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. It's a very emotional thing,
Yeah, anytime I think of it, Yeah. So anyways, she told me to pray. I remember my mom held my hands and she changed my name that day. So my name is Neka. In our tradition, it means mother is great. So as she held my hand and she was praying, she said, I'm going to call you Funaya, that Chiku Funaya, that's God loves me. And I held on to it and I said, God, if you love me, just whatever is good, I'm going to take whatever it is. And I went. First thing in the morning, I came to the hospital. I looked at my baby and he just looked at me and just closed his eyes like, hey mama, I'm here. And and I remember screaming, and everyone was rejoicing with me, because they had given up on him, and he was already gone. He was just like a miracle. And then I named him Mikel, because that was like after Christmas. It means God's gift.
All right.
I was with him all through, and we went through that. So he didn't even get his first immunization until he was 4 months. Then I lost my job. They couldn't take me. I applied to be away for a while to take care of my baby, but they said they couldn't give me that much time. So I told them, well, my boy is more important. So I lost my job. I was just at home, my mom helping out. And so it's been a roller coaster, because I already knew they said something might happen. So I was constantly watching, monitoring. And then when he was 18 months, I remember calling his name. I said, Mikel. He didn't respond well. I kept him, but he slept, and I slept behind him. And then he woke up crying, screaming, like, fear of I'm alone in the room. And I kept saying, Mikel, Mikel. And he wasn't turning back. And he ran to the door and he was hitting the door. And I was like, Mikel. So I touched him and I could see him shock. So I said, no, something is wrong with my boy. That whatever it is happening now. Right. So I went to the hospital and they told me to go check his hearing. And that was when the journey started. That's when I found out that it had damaged his hearing. So I thank God that's what it is. It could have been anything.
Right, I know. But that's a very, very emotional story. To be honest, I can relate to it in many ways. Because my story is kind of similar as well.
Okay, my boy has been through a lot. So I went to this place. They told me, he needs to get hearing aids. This is so amount. We raised the money.
What age was he at this time?
Then he was 2.
2, okay.
So we raised the money.
Had you started saying anything at the words?
No, nothing at all. Nothing. No babbling. No nothing. But I knew he was a happy child. He was always smiling. I knew he couldn't really relate to a lot of things, but so I got him the hearing aids, and immediately I got the hearing aids, he started falling sick. So he felt like he was constantly hitting his ear, So, but when I went back, they told me, "Oh no, it's like that for babies. They don't like
the sounds."
So, but that same instinct came again. I know this has gone way. I never knew anything about hearing it, but I felt something was wrong. It's not. I don't know. So I'm a researcher. I went online. I joined so many Facebook groups, and I asked questions, and everybody said if he's doing something is wrong, I should change my ENT. So I changed my ENT. I found out that they gave him the wrong hearing aids. So the hearing aids they gave him, the mode was hard, and because I've never had that experience, I never knew that mode are supposed to be soft for kids.
Yeah.
So it was that. It wasn't his size. It was giving him like injuries into his ear because it was really hard, and we kept on trying to make him wear it. So his outer ear was reddish. When I took him back there, they said, "Oh no, it's normal. Just put olive oil. Everything will be okay." You know. So funny enough, the person that I still owe to him is a Ghanaian audiologist. Immediately I took my son to him. He just told me everything. He said, "See, you've been robbed. The money they took was too much. These molds are not meant for your son." He just told me everything. And this was like about a year of my son using hearing aids.
Oh, dear.
So we had unknowingly been damaging more, because then he wasn't even profound then. It was just severe. So we unconsciously made it profound. So what he told me when he tested him, he said, "You know what, there's something called cochlear implants that is super expensive, but since God has been doing it for you, you never can tell what could happen." So what he did for us then was he changed his hearing aid. And when I felt the mold, I cried because the mold was so soft. And I said, "Oh my God, this is what I've been doing for my son for over a year." And he gave us the clips, he gave us everything was so sharp in his ear. I saw him smile.
Oh, dear.
Like, "Yes, Mom, this is it," and he never took it off.
To see that you will continually go back and these people are reassuring you that bad thing is something, it's very sad, because I mean,
even when they were doing the test, I remember when the audiologist I was asking, because I'm very inquisitive, "What exactly I do?" He said, no, I'm not meant to know. It's not for me to know. It's just this. And I was like, okay, as far as my son is all right. But when I met this Ghanaian audiologist, he put me through every single thing he was doing. He said, "This is the high frequency. This is what I'm doing." Even before he put Mikel to sleep, he said, "You know what? I'm going to give your son this. He's going to go to sleep. But he's okay. You can hold his hand. You can
do the
Yes." But when I did it the first time, they just told me he will sleep. I'm like, okay. But he explained this is the reason, and then he had people around Mikel, and he told me to just hold his hand if I'm not comfortable, for reassurance. And sometimes he'll tell me, "Okay, I should come over to his screen," and he'll tell me he's going on a high frequency to check. He really, really broke it down.
How did you get in touch with this Ghanaian? Where did you get him from?
That day was one of the days that I was overwhelmed with Mikel. I was just walking. I just saw decibel something, and the next thing I said, okay, I looked and I saw that he's ENT. I said, okay, well, let me have a second opinion, because I kept reading it's good to have second opinions. Immediately I got in there, the girl, the receptionist, just said, "Oh, welcome." I said, "Please, what exactly do people do here?" And she said, "Oh, we check this." And I said, "Oh no, I'm just passing by." I said, no, come in. Don't let money scare you." I said, "No, I'm not. I'm not there for anything. I just, because I was conscious of my son, it's like I was, those things were coming towards me, because everywhere I go to, I kept seeing deaf people, And then he just, the doctor, in fact, Dr. Graham, I just have to say his name. He just came out and he saw me and he was like, "Oh, where is the boy? Don't worry, bring him." He made me comfortable, and I brought Mikel. In fact, Mikel, that's the only audiologist that I see that Mikel hugged. Like, he actually hugged, because he made him comfortable. Yeah. So that was
How old was Mikel at this time?
He was 3.
3 now. So at 3, he still had no speech,
no
right?
sound, no nothing.
No sound.
But when he got the hearing aids, then I noticed a difference.
That's from Dr.
Graham.
Dr. Graham.
Yes. So he told me when I get home, I should make sounds and see how he reacts. So I remember when we go home, I slammed the door and he just, like, "Oh yes." And I broke down crying. I was like, something has finally happened. But he was like, it needs to be really loud. Like he could only hear the sound of like a bomb, but he would hear a sound. So the hearing aids, after Dr. Graham had changed it, but he followed up. He would send me messages. "Mikel's mom, the best thing that comes to your child is a cochlear implant." So he kept on following up. So that gave me the strength. And then he told me something that really helped me in life. He said, "Never bottle up, open up." And that was what I did. So Mikel getting his surgery was a miracle. Immediately they told me the amount. My mom and myself, we just said, "You know what, we just keep managing the hearing aids," because then it was millions.
Do you remember how much it was at the time? When was this? What year?
We did this 2020.
Oh, that's just around the corner.
Yeah, he did it. So we did it December 15th, and Mikel turned 5 December 23rd. So,
oh wow.
Yeah. So when he was 3 around that time, I kept thinking. Then they had already told me it was going for like 10 million. And
yep.
And they said it was just for 1 year and all of that. I'm like, my goodness, where am I supposed to do this from? And I had a child in my class then. So she just warmed up to me, I don't know, for some reason she was always on me. So her mom came to me and said, why is it that my daughter is just loving you? She doesn't love me this much. So I got close to the mom, and then we had it was December. Mikel was turning 4, and I brought them to my place of work. We always have these firework nights. This child was trying to talk to Mikel, but Mikel was not responding. So she tapped me. So they call me Miss K. So she said, Miss K, your son isn't talking. And I smiled. I said, oh yes, that he's using hearing aids. I said, what's hearing aids? I said, he's what you call a deaf child, but that helps him to hear. And that was around December period. So when I got back to work in January, the mom came to me and she said that all through the holiday, her daughter couldn't sleep. She kept on disturbing them that why would her teacher's son not be able to hear his mother's voice and she can hear my voice? And this child is 8 years old.
Bless her.
And the mom got really worried and she asked for my story. I told her my story and she said she needs evidence. So I gave her all the evidence, and then she said, okay, she knows another parent that is a pediatrician. I should go see her. So I went to see her. Same thing, told the story, all of that. They raised the money for Mikel just because of that child. So I was even thinking, okay, maybe to be 1 year. And the next thing they said, no, 1 year is not going to be enough. We're going to raise the money for 2 years. They raised for 2 and they paid for 1 year speech therapy for me.
Oh my God. Bless them.
Yeah, so it was the next year, so they did all that process from that was when COVID happened. We were supposed to have it before COVID happened. So they actually had to bring the surgeon from UK. So I know they spent more than the normal amount of millions. And then we had the surgery and that's it.
That was really kind of them. Very kind. Those are angels.
Yeah, trust me.
All right. So they had the surgery in a Nigerian hospital.
Yes. So they paid for all of that. They brought the doctor had to bring his own nurses. He had to bring his own stuff. They paid for the shipment of his equipment. Oh yes. And they didn't even want me to know what they were doing. They just wanted Mikel to be fine.
Just bring yourself and the child.
And they're anonymous till today. I don't even know how many of them were there. They refused to let me know the people on the team. All they just said was they're setting up an account. They want, and I was just blown. And all this while Mikel was never in school because I had the fear. I didn't know what he was going to, be like in school. So he was homeschooled. So,
oh wow, who was homeschooling him? You?
Yeah. I just had a nanny then. Her job was to just stay with him. And then when I come home, I do stuff with him. I tell her sometimes I do Zoom. And I just played stuff with him. And yeah, he was homeschooled all the way till he turned 6 before he really entered school.
Oh, wow. That's an amazing story. Where do you think his progress is? Have you seen any progress since he's got the cochlear implant?
A whole lot. He's speaking now.
Oh, nice.
He knows his name. He knows his age. Good. He's in fact, so everyone that knew the story and sees him, they're amazed by his progress. So I just give it up to God because they said there's so many children that he's just going to be 3 years this February, and he has made a huge progress. He got the award for the most improved child in his class, and he loves to dance.
Nice. He loves music.
So anywhere he hears any song, he just goes.
That's good. That's really good to hear. So do you have any concerns around Mikel's future?
Honestly, I've got fears. I'm not going to lie to you. I've got huge fears. Sometimes it weighs me down. Sometimes I cry. Just day before yesterday, the coil was blinking red, and he kept telling me he couldn't hear. So like, mom, and he did this red, and I changed the coil, I called everything seemed to be fine, but he couldn't hear, and he just took it off and put it, and I could see how sad he was. So that also told me that I don't know what's gonna happen. He said it's for life, but what if something like this happens? He's in a meeting, I have that fear. So
those concerns, yes, technology,
The only thing I know I really want to do is to build something for him, so that he doesn't go around looking for a job or something, and they keep telling him because of his challenges he can't be accepted. So I just want to build something for him, because honestly, I am worried. His batteries, all those,
it's a whole lot. It's a whole lot. When you say you want to build something, how do you mean?
I was thinking of doing a foundation for him.
Okay.
That's in a foundation, so that we can be helping children, just like what you said, new moms, and hopefully maybe him being an ambassador, based on his, something that he can live for. I want him to know that he's got superpower, that he can live for something. He doesn't have to have that mindset of
no limitation.
No, exactly. And I know he loves Legos. He's very creative and all of that. Right. So I want him to give back, because his journey is a miracle. Even if he set up a charity organization or
empower
something.
Him. Yeah.
So he's involved in it, and he understands because it's him. He understands based on it, and then when people see him, there's hope.
Yeah, so that's fantastic. That's I think that's the summation of it. When people see him, there's hope, really, because there's no limitation for these children. Anything is possible. Does he attend school now?
Yeah, now he does. I pay someone to go with him 3 times a week, and just to support him in his learning process. But I said he still needs to be independent. So the other 2 days, Thursday and Friday, he's on his own.
That's a creative way of getting that extra, because I know that it's not something that is known to in the education or in the system.
Exactly.
In Nigeria, and so everyone kind of creates their own creative around how the support they want their child to get. At some point, I'll be honest with you, we had that kind of thing. We also used to explore training teachers in the school to help the child, because we are hoping that some other children with such disabilities can come in and benefit. Just something very practical, but it's quite frustrating.
Yeah.
It can be very frustrating, especially if you are a researcher and you know what you're really looking for.
Yes.
The outcomes. So there's a limit to how long you can hang in there.